Hola amigos, Professor Shank. So we're going to talk about AR verbs in this lesson. Now, before I teach you about AR verbs, we need to know what is a verb. A verb is a word that expresses action or a state of being. We also call verbs infinitives. An infinitive is a verb in its basic form, unchanged. Examples of this in English would be to run, to walk, to eat, to be, to have. Those are examples of words that express action and state of being. Now in Spanish, you can tell if a word is a verb by how it ends. So let me show you guys some examples here of infinitives in Spanish. Okay, and remember, I just said an infinitive is a word that is a verb that expresses to something, like to run, to hike, to be, to have. So infinitives equal unchanged verb, okay, which is to something, all right? Now, let's talk about what infinitives are in Spanish. What are examples of an infinitive? What is an infinitive in Spanish? Well, in Spanish, an infinitive ends in AR, ER, and IR. So if you see a word that ends in AR, ER, and IR, it is probably a verb or an unchanged infinitive, okay? In this lesson, we are only gonna focus on AR verbs. Once you understand AR verbs, you'll understand ER and IR verbs because they are the same concept, okay? So let's take a verb like this, tomar, which means to take. It also means to drink if you use it in a different context. Now we're going to do what's called conjugation. Conjugation means changing the verb, okay? And we're changing the verb to indicate action or state of being, okay? Now, tomar is to take. We cannot say yo tomar. That means I to take or I to drink. That doesn't make any sense, right? We want to say I drink or I take or I'm drinking, I'm taking, like I'm taking Spanish, I'm drinking water. Do you drink water? Is he taking Spanish? Okay, so we need to conjugate the verb. We need to change tomar into a form that means I take or you take or he takes or she takes. So we're going to combine tomar with the subject pronouns to make it mean something. Now, we can't just say yo tomar, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take that AR on the end of tomar and we're going to drop it. Now, let me illustrate to you how we do this. So here's the verb tomar, to take, right? And I said, okay, well, we need to drop the AR in tomar and then we do something with the verb. We have to conjugate. Well, in Spanish, conjugation means we put an ending on the end of the verb once we drop the AR. And by the way, that ending, or excuse me, that right there, tom, that is what we call the stem. The stem is what's left over of the verb once you have dropped the AR off of it, okay? And so that is the take or drink part. Now, who is taking or drinking? Well, I'm gonna add an O to the end of tomar after I drop the AR. Yo tomo. Now I've conjugated the verb. Now I'm making a sentence and I'm making sense. Yo tomo, I take. It can also mean I am taking. This is what we call the present tense. The present is the right now time, not in the future and not in the past. It's right now. So yo tomo, I take. Yo tomo una clase de español. I take a Spanish class. It can also mean I am taking a Spanish class. When we want to say you take or you are taking, we drop the AR off and we add as. Tú tomas. You take, you are taking. If we want to say you take and you are taking in a formal way, we drop the AR off and we add an A. Usted toma. You take, you are taking. Él, he, and ella, she also have the ending A. Él toma, ella toma. Okay, so we can also say José toma. José is taking. Él replaces José. José toma español. Él toma español. Jose is taking Spanish. He is taking Spanish. Same thing. Ella toma. She takes. She is taking. Margarita toma agua. Ella toma agua. Margarita is drinking water. She is drinking water. Okay, let's do the plural side. Nosotros, nosotras. We. Nosotros, nosotras, we drop the AR and we add amos. Nosotros tomamos. We take. We drink. Remember, vosotros and vosotras are used in Spain, so we are not actively going to utilize that, but the ending is AIS, ice, tomáis. Ustedes toman, you all take, or you all drink, okay? Remember, ustedes means you plural. It does not mean they. Ustedes is you, so you are talking to a group of people. Ustedes toman español? You all take Spanish? Ellos, ellas, which mean they. The ending is also going to be AN. Ellos toman, they take, or they drink. Ellas toman, they, implying girls only, they take, they drink, or they are taking, they are drinking. Okay, so to review, for an AR verb like tomar, we drop the AR and we add O for yo, as for tú, a for usted, él, ella, amos for nosotros, ais for vosotros, and an for ustedes, ellos, ellas. There is no exception to this rule. Now, another question for you guys. Do we do this with all AR verbs? Yeah, we do. Well, not the irregular ones, which you are going to learn, but even the irregular ones are pretty similar. But regular verbs that follow the pattern, and when I say regular, a regular verb means that it's a verb that follows the same pattern as all the other verbs, okay? So we have tomar, estudiar. Is that going to follow the same pattern as tomar? Yes, it will be the same thing. Yo estudio, tú estudias, usted, él, ella estudia, nosotros estudiamos, ustedes, ellos, ellas estudian. In this lesson, you're also going to be learning many other AR verbs that are very commonly used in Spanish in everyday speech. And you're going to learn how to conjugate them and make simple, easy sentences and ask simple, easy questions using the AR verbs. The other verbs we have are hablar, to speak or to talk, necesitar, which means to need, and I'm going to talk about this in 2 seconds because we can add another verb after it. I'll talk about that in a sec. Caminar, to walk, cantar, to sing, escuchar, to listen, like to listen to music, llevar, to carry, like to carry your books, or to wear clothes, enseñar, which is what I do, teach, buscar, to look for, not to look at, that's different, mirar, to watch or to look at. See how they're different? Buscar is to look for, mirar is to look at. Preguntar, to ask a question. Trabajar, to work. Terminar, to finish or to end. Preparar, to prepare. And notice how this is a cognate. It looks like English. You'll find a lot of verbs like that that kind of look like the English word. Cocinar, to cook. And regresar, to return. All of these AR verbs are going to be conjugated the exact same way with the exact same endings for the subject that goes with them. Okay, so that's that. Now, I promised you I would talk about necesitar. Let's talk about necesitar. Now, when it says plus infinitive, what does that mean? Well, let's talk about that. When you have a verb plus infinitive. So we have necesitar, right? To need. And we say, oh, we can put an infinitive after it. Well, remember, an infinitive is a verb that hasn't been changed yet, right? So if I want to say I need, I say yo necesito. I need. What if I need to study? Oh, I need to study. Well, the verb that comes after necesito is going to be in the infinitive form. It's going to be unchanged. Yo necesito estudiar. I need to study. Okay, so here's the rule. The second verb that comes after the first verb, when they go together, necesito estudiar, that second verb, estudiar, you don't touch it. You don't conjugate it. It's just like English. You don't say, I need, I study. For example, I would never do this. Yo necesito estudio. I need, I study. That doesn't make any sense. No one's going to understand you. Yo necesito estudiar. I need to study. Okay, muy bien. So that's the concept of having two verbs in a row, verb plus infinitive. Now let me talk about one more thing. Yo necesito means I need, right? Can we say necesito estudiar? I need to study. Can I say that? Absolutely, I can say that. In Spanish, you do not need to say your subject pronoun if it's understood or if the verb ending tells you who it is. See that O on the end there? Necesito? Well, the O can only indicate yo. It can't indicate anyone else. So it has to be just me. So in Spanish, we will eliminate the subject pronoun very frequently because it's just extra words. Who wants to say all those extra words, right? Necesito, I need. That's a lot easier to say than yo necesito. Too many words, right? How about tú? Tú necesitas estudiar. You need to study. Is it okay for me to say necesitas estudiar? Absolutely, because that AS indicates you. It doesn't indicate anybody else. So you know when I'm talking to you, if I'm talking to you, I'm saying, hey, necesitas estudiar. That AS in your brain tells you you need to study, okay? Now, what about this? Who am I talking about or who am I talking to? I don't know, okay? So here, we kind of need to mention first, Jose necesita estudiar. Jose needs to study. Estudia mucho. He studies a lot. See, I don't need to say él estudia mucho because we already know we're talking about Jose. So in Spanish, when we already know who we're talking about, we don't need to say él or ella or nosotros or nosotras. We don't need to say that once we've established who we're talking about, okay? So that's a little thing that you're going to get used to in Spanish is eliminating your subject pronouns in the yo form and the tú form and nosotros form. And then you'll get used to eliminating it when you're talking about people, okay? Because you already know who you're talking about. The reason why we do that in Spanish, number one, is because the ending of the verb tells you who it is, okay? And number two, it's just easier to say. We try to be as efficient as we can when we talk, so eliminating the subject pronoun is just something we do to make our speech go faster and more simple, okay? And I like fast and simple. All right, that's it for AR verbs. And now you guys can go on and practice the meanings of those common AR verbs and do some activities to practice. Hasta luego.